and welcome to my kitchen. I hope you are all well. So today I thought I would do a chatty cook with me. Now, I know for everyone that knows me, they might be a little bit concerned because they know I'm not the best cook. But my friend Jay sent me this recipe and it looked insane, so I thought let's try it. So it's like a chicken peanut butter noodle dish, like kind of like a pad thai, like a fake pad thai. So I thought, why not try it for the first time on camera and I can share it all with you. So I've adapted the recipe to fit my macros and calories and everything. So throughout it, we're just going to be chatting about how you can adjust your this food, this recipe, or your favorite foods to fit your calories and macros, as well as just some basic nutritional tips and help towards hitting those fitness goals in terms of your diet and everything. So I'll give you a quick run through of everything that we've got. So here's all the ingredients. I have prepped and chopped everything and weighed it all with my scales, and it's all going into one dish. So we hope it's going to be nice and simple, but this is me, it could go wrong. So if you do enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up, click that subscribe button and turn your notifications on. And I'm hoping to keep doing these, so once a month or so, every time I find a new recipe or I've just got a recipe that I want to share with you which is really good in terms of calories and macronutrients and everything, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do like a Shannon's Kitchen special. So without further ado, let's get cooking. First thing you need to do is get your wok or large frying pan, and we're going to be using my best friend, you all know about this by now. It's the Fry Light 1 calorie cooking spray. Again, get it in any one, they're just as good. Giving that a couple of squirts. I'm just going to let that heat up. So I've got it on a high heat, so the recipe says we need everything on a high heat, so that's what we're going with. And so basically, to make it macro friendly, I've added chicken to it. You could literally add any kind of protein to this. So I did fancy prawns, but I thought chicken would suit a wider range of people. So we're going with chicken, but you could have both. Or if you're veggie or vegan, you could have it with tofu or tempeh, which is, I think, is that soybeans? I think it all comes from soybeans. But obviously that's still a really good source of protein. Especially if you can't have meat in your diet, or if you're, pescatarian. Fish, prawns would all go really well with this. Just because it's basically like a stir fry, so, I mean, you can't really go wrong. Right, I'm just letting that preheat. I should have probably heated that up a little bit before we go. So, I have got, all of my ingredients are for 2 people, but I'm going to be giving you the list of ingredients and the calories and macros and everything for 1 person, so don't get confused. But I'll also include everything. I'll write it all in the description box below so you can follow it all. So the first thing we need to do is obviously let the pan preheat. And so for 1 person for this, it's 150 grams of chicken. And we're just going to pop that in once it gets a little bit hotter. And we're just going to cook that until it gets slightly cooked. Like goldeny, not golden, like whitey golden. We'll see. Right. Okay. Okay, so you just want to keep that moving for the time being, just because it can get stuck. If it does get stuck, just add a little bit more. Obviously it is a little bit different from using oil, because that does seem to go a little further, whereas this does sort of, I don't know, it seems to evaporate quite quickly. So I'm just going to let that sizzle off a minute. But yeah, so I have basically taken this recipe. The recipe that I was given by my friend, it was sort of like a do-it-for-yourself kind of thing, which I really enjoy. So they're easily adaptable, which is my favourite kind of recipes. So there was no you have to put this amount in, you have to put that amount in, or anything like that. It was just wing it, basically. Which, for someone that isn't good at cooking, is perfect for me. I've obviously added chicken in so I can hit my macro target. So one chicken breast for one person is usually around 150 grams, which is I think about 30 grams of protein, which is really good. Obviously for me it's important that I do hit my macros in each meal, not like specific, but like a roundabout way kind of thing, just because a lot of people don't realise that they don't actually get enough protein in, and often that can be something that does like hold you back in terms of your like fitness goal. I know that when I first started I wasn't eating enough protein, and when I did start to like up my protein, it almost like the weight started to come off easier, I think, because I was fueling my body with the right kind of food. So yeah, obviously I've got my video about how to track your calories and macros on MyFitnessPal. So once you do know your calories and macros, I would recommend tracking, just to ensure that you are hitting that like protein target for you and for whatever your fitness goals are. Right, this is all sort of coloured now, so it's kind of like white. It's about to turn golden. So then we need to add, so we've got half a tablespoon of ginger and half a garlic clove for one person. So I've obviously doubled it for two. I don't think I've ever been this organised in like prepping all of my food first. And then you just want to add the onion. And also, I've chopped chilli up. 25 grams of onion for one person and half a chilli for one person. Okay, and then you just want to keep moving that so it doesn't get stuck to the pan. So whilst that's cooking, you just want to let that cook for like a couple of minutes. Just so it's so, I don't know, I really don't know. I'm just going to pretend that I know. I feel like I'm on like Saturday kitchen, Sunday kitchen, I don't know what it is. But yeah, just so basically, I don't really like hard onions. I prefer them like soft and like fried. So I'm just going to essentially do that. And I don't know, is it going to make the chicken taste better? Probably. So once that's sort of started, the onions have started to like cook, essentially, I'm going to add in the rest of the veg. Just going to keep that moving a little bit. So I've added a chilli because I find that with like, I don't know, I don't think this is true, but when I was first starting, oh, hang on, it's starting to burn. Let me add some of the veg. So we've got a carrot per person. We've got 50 grams of mushrooms for one person. And then we've got 100 grams of cabbage. Now, your veg has lots of water in it, so it should start to soak up, and essentially the veg will shrivel down, so it's almost like nothing. I'm not sure if my wok's big enough. Hopefully, once everything starts to cook a little bit more, it will all shrivel down. Right, I'm just going to turn the heat down slightly just because I don't want everything burning. So yeah, like I was saying, I think there's a stigma around like low calorie, or like, I don't know, when you're eating in a calorie deficit, that things are tasteless. I think it's because it's come from that diet culture that you need to eat salads and like boring food. But a way of getting around, if you do find it boring, is add like spice to it. So add chili, use sriracha sauce. I may have said that wrong, but that's really good, and it's got quite good macros in. I mean, it's got like hardly any like calories or anything in, so that's really good. But yeah, adding spice just gives food like a completely different taste. Tabasco, that kind of thing. I don't know, I know a lot of people that are on like strict meal preps as well, they will add chili or spice stuff to their food just to give it a bit more flavour, so it's not bland, I guess. Also, a great thing about this meal is it's going to be full of not just your like macronutrients, so your carbs, proteins and fats, but it's got a lot of veggies in, so it's going to be full of micronutrients as well, so your vitamins and minerals. Right, that started to shrink down a little bit, so we're just going to leave that for a little bit longer. I don't know if like you, but I have a lot of meals that when I first started my fitness journey, I was like, I'm not gonna be able to eat that again, or I'm not gonna be able to like cook that because that doesn't fit in with my macros. And actually, as I've learned, as you go further into your journey, you find ways of adapting it and essentially, yeah, adapting your macros to fit your favorite recipes. So whether it's, I don't know, like mac and cheese, obviously that is known for being like quite high in fat because of all the cheese, but there is a way of doing it. You know, you can get the low fat cheese, lower calorie cheese, and you can obviously, like, measuring out your pasta and everything, you don't have to make it with cream, I don't think. Not cream. I mean, I'm not a chef, again, I have no idea what I'm talking about, but you can adapt. And another thing that's also become quite a big thing is creating fake away meals. So your favorite like takeaways and creating them into like a macro calorie friendly meal. So I always do that. So we always do it with Nando's. We love Nando's. I mean, Nando's is probably like the best one anyway. But if you're at home, it's so easy to just buy like the Nando's sauce, or like create your like chili sauce, or like rub, peri rub. Pop some meat in, you've got some veg, rice. I mean, it's literally so simple, but you know, you can do the same with like breading your own fish, making your own potatoes if you like fish and chips, or whatever it is that you guys like. It's basically just adapting to that. Okay, so you'll see now, without me dropping it, it's all sort of mushing down. I think cabbage does take a little bit longer to cook than say the other stuff, but that's fine. And also it smells so good, so that's a good start because it's only got chicken and like veg in so far. But yeah, so where were I? Fakeaways. So yeah, that's a good tip as well, is really look into like your favorite recipes and be like, you have to get creative with it, you have to use your imagination. Unfortunately, sometimes I find searching meals, it doesn't bring up the options that I want. It brings up classic family food that aren't always the best calories and macros and won't help you get your diet, like hit your fitness targets. But you can adapt them. It doesn't mean you have to miss out and watch your family eat like a really good roast whilst you sit and munch on some lettuce leaves. Like, no one should be doing that. I would cry. With my meals, like I said in the previous video, what I eat for fat loss, I'm currently eating in a calorie deficit. I aim for my meals to be around like 500 calories roughly. Breakfast is normally a bit under that, it's normally about 350, 400. But I love snacks so much that I need to make room for them. I don't just want to eat 3 meals a day, I want to, you know, get the most out of my food. Right, whilst that's still cooking, we're going to add our ready to wok noodles. So these are fresh ones. I don't know how the macros and everything compare to dried noodles. They might be different, but these just hold the flavour a little bit, so I thought we'd use these instead. Pop those in. Oh, they've actually got a pulley thing that I could have just opened and went, oh well. Okay, so pop those in. Plastic. And then I think they break down. I mean, I normally use dried ones, but I've heard that these soak up the flavour a bit better, so I thought we'd just give them a go. Like I said, I have no idea what I'm doing. They still seem to be like quite hard. I don't know. Will that break down? Let's hope so. Yeah, I have, in the recipe it did say if you are going to use dried noodles, then when you cook them alongside this in like a separate hob and you drain them, just add a little bit of oil to them, like again just a couple of squirts of the 1 cal spray, and then add them to the pan. It just stops them from drying out and burning and almost becoming like cardboard. Okay, these are starting to break off now, so that's good. Also, because the vegetables are mainly full of like water, it's really starting to create like a juice at the bottom, which is really good. Just gonna mix all that up and then we'll add the sauce. So if you enjoy snacks, or if you're in a calorie deficit or you're trying to lose weight, don't think, oh, I can't snack anymore, or I can only eat 3 meals a day, because then that's like restricting yourself. And I know a lot of people don't work that well off eating like that. So whatever your calories is, so at the moment mine are about 1,900. I know I can quite easily have a meal, like 3 meals a day that hit 500 each and still have leftovers for snacks, which is the best. Another little tip that I can give you when you're cooking is use fresh ingredients. So vegetables, you know, things like, if you can get, it is expensive and I am guilty of not always doing it, but if you can afford it, then obviously organic or like free range stuff is better quality because it holds its nutrients much better than, say, like so eggs is always a good one. The free range organic eggs do have much better macros. Butter as well, I always use the butter that comes in the tin foil rather than like a tub, just because, again, if you're using it, it's, what, I can't even remember what it is, but it's, I don't know, I just think the stuff in it is more natural. Look, I'm making such a mess. Yeah, I think it's more natural ingredients, so it's easier to like cook with and everything because it's more natural sources. I mean, again, I'm winging it. This is stuff that I do know, but I don't know all of the facts, so I'm just sharing tips with you, but don't ask me why. Right, we're gonna add the sauce now. So you need to squeeze some lime juice in. Try not to get it in your eye. Oh, okay, most of that's gone everywhere. Keep it moving as well, just because the noodles can burn quickly to the pan. Right, then we're gonna go in and we're gonna add our peanut butter. So this is 15 grams of peanut butter for one person. And add that in. Again, amazing source of protein here with the peanut butter as well. So it's a really good macro-friendly meal. And then we're going to add in, just for extra taste, some sweet chili sauce, just to make it a bit sweet. Let's hope it's not too spicy. No, I don't mind spice. Okay, and then we're just going to mix that up, but you really need to keep it moving because my noodles are stuck to the bottom of the pan. Also, I mean, there was lots of different colours, but everything's turned purple now because I used red cabbage, so we're just going to have to go with that. And it smells good, it's peanut butter, so you can't really go wrong, can you? Another little tip is when you're cooking, like stuff like this, obviously, like, you know, old family heirloom recipes that are normally quite high in calories is because people didn't like waste stuff. They would just be like, you know, chuck a bit of this in, we've got a bit of this left in the cupboard, keep using this or whatever. But now we have these scales. You know, I've talked about these before. If you can weigh your food out, even if you get into the habit to begin with, it is really good. It can be annoying if you're not used to it, but yeah, it's an amazing thing to like get into, just because you can see exactly where you're going wrong, or if you're not getting enough food in, because a lot of people actually do undereat. So if you can like ensure that you're hitting your calories, then it might mean you get to eat more food. Right, the only thing with peanut butter is I find that it doesn't like mix very well. It doesn't like melt down and like smush everywhere. Also, the peanut butter that I'm using is from bulk powders rather than one from like Tesco's, just because again it's more natural. It's just peanut butter, it's not with added like sugar and all that stuff. I also like crunchy peanut butter just because it's got more taste, doesn't it? One last tip, when you're cooking foods like stir fry or anything really, fill it out with vegetables, because people think that, oh, I'm in a calorie deficit so I can't eat as much as I normally would. Well, you can, you just need to like see what it is that you're eating with. So, you know, fill it full of vegetables, and like this is full and this is for 2 people, so we can like eat so much of this. But yeah, so vegetables are a really good way of filling it out, and you can eat so many of them because when you cook they break down into like basically water and nothing, and they have like hardly any calories in. So yeah, fill your plate full of veggies. I think this is cooked, so let's have a look and dish it up. So it's just finished cooking, so this is what it looks like. I mean, yeah, okay, it probably doesn't look the most, you know, aesthetic. It's very purple, but we will plate it up and give it a try. So it is all plated up and we're about to enjoy it for lunch. I'm very excited. Let's see how this tastes. So just before I start eating, because it's gonna go cold otherwise if I don't hurry up, but I just wanted to go through the calories with you and the macros. So it's 591 calories. So like I said before, don't look at 591, nearly 600 and be like, that's way too much, you can't eat that on a calorie deficit. You can if you think of in terms like, say for example, my deficit is 1,800, 900. There's plenty of room there for other meals and snacks, so do not panic. It's really good in terms of macros and everything. So for that meal, it was 53 grams of protein, which is insane. My target is 130, so I'm already like on the way there to meeting that for the day. 67 grams of carbs and only 10 grams of fat, so literally insane macros. I'll pop it all on the screen just because I've tracked it all on MyFitnessPal because I love them. But yeah, so this is obviously what it looks like. I will do a taste test and then I'm going to get on with eating it. But let's, right, get a bit of everything on there. Definitely tastes like peanut butter. Does have quite a kick to it. So I'm going to enjoy this now and I'll check back in after I've eaten it to give you the full rundown. I finished the satay noodle dish, that's what we're going to call it. I actually really enjoyed it. It was very spicy. I've got a little bit of a sweat on. You could really taste the chili. The peanut butter, I think because I used natural peanut butter from bulk powders, it didn't like disperse down into a sauce as much, but it still added flavor and taste. And it was also a good like little tip to use the crunchy one because it added like a little bit more texture to the dish. But overall, I really liked it. I'm going to rate it 8 out of 10. I will be having it again. Like I said, I'll leave the ingredients and like the macros and everything in the description box below. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this kind of video and you got a bit of a laugh out of me attempting to cook. If you did enjoy it, please give it a big thumbs up, click that subscribe button and turn your notifications on, and I'll see you for the next one. See you later.